Can we start over the session, ma'am?
Gokul sir, can we start with the
Yes,
session?
yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Wisdom comes not from age, but from education and learning. Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the 3-day national level webinar on research guidelines, literature review, questionnaire designing, and application of statistical tools. I really feel glad to say that there are around 860 participants taking part in the following webinar. And the topic for day 3 is application of statistical tools. I welcome Dr. Mamta Brahmbhatt, Associate Professor, Head of Department of Business Intelligence, BK School, Academic Coordinator, Institute of Defense Studies and Research, Ahmedabad. Over to you, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Good evening, participant. In today's session, I am going to talk about the application of statistics in the research. So we'll start with the basics of statistics and then I'll take you to the research fundamental. Let me share my screen first of all. I hope this whiteboard is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Yes, fine. So application of statistical tool. So before we'll start, the basic concepts of statistics must be clear. Like, let me ask the audience now, so that that way I can plan my session. Do you know what is population parameter? Anyone? Can you write in the chat box population parameter? Sample statistics. If you know, then we can plan accordingly. What is sample statistics? What is population parameter? No, I'm not asking population. I'm asking population parameter. What is population parameter that I'm asking? If somebody is knowing, please do let me know. Monica is saying it is demographics. No, I'm talking about population parameter and sample statistics because the statistical analysis is based on that. Features of population, yeah. Very good. So one person is knowing. What about others? Population parameter are mean, SD, etc. of population. I'm not sure. Okay. Fine. Talking all population. Fine. Fine. So few of them, I think around 5-10 people, they know what is population parameter. So let us start with the something. I'll ask the question in between. Fine. Sure. Now, statistics, it is nothing but it is revolving around the numbers. So whenever the number data come into picture, we are saying that it is statistics. Clear? There are two branches of statistics. One, it is the descriptive statistics. Another, it is the inferential statistics. Yeah, these are the two branches of statistics. As the name suggests, the descriptive statistics, it is describing the facts and figure. And inferential statistics, we are going to infer something. Yeah. So descriptive statistics, whatever the data you have collected. So data we have collected for the sample. So we are describing that data using the various statistical tools. In inferential statistics also, we are going to use different statistics. So what is a basic difference between the two? When I'm saying a descriptive statistics, most of the time, researcher, they understand that inferential statistics only I'll be able to conclude. Meaningful conclusion application, it is possible only in the inferential statistics. In descriptive statistics, it is not possible to draw the meaningful conclusion. No, it's not like that. Both the branches of the statistics, you can draw the meaningful conclusion. You can have the meaningful managerial application out of both of them. Clear? So both are equally having, both is having equal weightage. Not necessarily that if you are using the inferential statistic, then only you will be able to give lot of conclusion. These are not necessary. Clear? Fine. Sure. Descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So I'll first start with the descriptive. The descriptive statistics, say for example, when the new batch of any program is started, say for example, MBA. Yeah. So we have intake capacity of 120. So on the very first day when the batch is started, we are doing an orientation program. In the orientation program, we are asking students to introduce themselves. Yeah. So out all 120 students, they are talking about their background and their previous college experiences and all. So as a statistics faculty, what I am doing, when they are saying their introduction in a small sheet, I am preparing a frequency distribution like this, like how many BCom student, how many BBA student, how many BPharm student, how many engineers. Clear. So if someone is given introduction, yes, I am become student from so and so college. So then I am making one frequency mark. Clear. So till the 120 students get giving their introduction, I am preparing the frequency mark like this. Clear. So maybe engineer, something like that. So this way I am preparing a frequency distribution, frequency mark. And at the end, I am writing, yes, what are the numbers total. So I am just counting these 5 lines of the frequency mark, and then I'm counting that how many students from which branch, that way. So for example, if I have the 80 engineers, if I have 15 students from BBA, if I have 5 students from BPharm, so it is 100, and 20 students maybe from BCom. So what is that? I have not done anything. I have collected the information. Clear? Now, whatever the collected information you are having, you are going to describe them in a form of frequency table or in a form of a charts. Yeah, so I'm writing engineer here. This is 80. And I'm using this somewhere here. Yeah. So this is what. This way I can prepare. This is 120. So this is my particular. This is the frequency count. I can prepare a percentage out of that. Clear. I can prepare a cumulative percentage if I wish to prepare. So this way, whatever the data I have collected, we can prepare the frequency distribution out of that, and we can conclude something out of a data. So the first tool in the statistic that we apply for a research, it is nothing but it is a descriptive statistic that I am using. So if I have 80 engineers and out of 120, so that means I can say that around 67% of the students, they are engineer, and remaining students, they are from the other branches. Yeah. The same information I can draw in the form of charts also. It is not looking like a circle, but I assume that it is circle. Okay. Rather than going for circle, I can prepare bar also. So let me go for that. So maybe BCom students like this, BBA this way. So I can prepare vertical bar like this. BBA students are lesser than this. So this way you can prepare the vertical bar, and this could be the engineer. So this is what I am describing, the data which I have collected, and on the basis of that I draw the conclusion that in the this batch this year, out of a 120 students, 67 percentage they are engineers. Clear? So this is my finding, this is the interpretation. So if the interpretation I have to write, then I can say that the this batch, it is slightly more skewed towards the engineers. This could be the interpretation. Clear? I have seen the scholars that they are writing from the above table. We can see that the 67% they are engineer. From the chart also we can say that chart and table, they are representing the same thing. So why are you writing in a form of lines, statements? It is already visualized. You can this chart display the information. So the whatever the information displayed in the chart and in the frequency table, no need to write in the form of statement saying that you are writing the interpretation. No, it's not interpretation. Mind well clear. Interpretation could be written like that, ki, yes, from this I can infer that this time the batch it is skewed towards the engineer. Clear? So this is the data I have got. Now, what are the implications as a manager, as a management faculty? What I can draw out of that? So if I am handling placements also along with this, so what I can do, I can, if I am as a placement officer of an organization, of an institute, of a premium B school of Gujarat, what I can decide, okay, this many engineers, so this time I have to call more companies, those who are purely in the industrial marketing, because engineer student, they can go for industrial marketing rather than our FMCG marketing. So my strategies can be built on the basis of a descriptive statistics. So the researcher, they think that key, on the basis of descriptive statistics, no meaningful decision can be taken. No, you can take a meaningful decision. And the decision that I have taken this year, that rather than calling banking and insurance companies, this time I will be going for a more industrial marketing based company, so they can absorb the engineers easily. So descriptive statistics, it is what? It is describing the data in the form of a frequency tables, in the form of graph, and you can also describe in the form of a probability distribution. Clear? So maybe you have seen the thesis that they are drawing the normal distribution curve. So this is what, that is probability distribution. So any research, whether it is the research paper or PhD thesis, without descriptive statistics, you cannot go ahead. So if it is the PhD thesis, then the chapter number 5, data interpretation, interpretation and data analysis and interpretation, you have two sections. One, it is a descriptive statistics, another is inferential statistics. So that way you can write, this could be the format. What is your question? That question is a frequency table, that you can define frequency table. You can draw a graph, you can draw the normal distribution out of that if it is a scale variable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth, you can write the interpretation out of that. So per question, you can write the 5 things. All these 5 things, it is nothing but it is a descriptive statistics. Fine. Okay. Now inferential statistics. In descriptive statistics, I don't have any assumption. I am describing, that's it. Clear? So no assumption in a descriptive statistics. But in the inferential statistics, I always go with assumptions. So that means hypothesis comes under the inferential statistics. Testing of hypothesis, it is under the inferential statistical analysis. Clear? So the second branch, you are going to establish your hypothesis. So hypothesis comes under the inferential statistical analysis. Now, we are building hypothesis for what? Hypothesis, how to build, how to design the hypothesis. Can anybody tell me in the chat box, what is hypothesis? What is null hypothesis? They are writing something about their college introduction. Anyone? What is hypothesis? What is null hypothesis? Many people have raised hands. I don't know why. Tentative statement, relation, hypothesis, guesses. But hypothesis, it is assumption. Okay, fine. But null hypothesis mean options are equal. But when I'm saying that hypothesis, it is assumption. Assumption about what? Chalo, to be very precise. Relation between the two variables. Okay, fine. So in a hypothesis testing, we are making assumptions. Assumption about what, that I am asking. No problem. Let me write. So hypothesis, as many people, they have written it as statements. It is a assumptions. Assumption about what, that I am talking about now. Now, say for an example, you want to study the library going habits of your college students. Yeah, library going habits of your college students. And for that, you have two options. You can go for the whole population study, you can go for sample study. Normally, we are going for a sample study, we don't go for a population study. Only government and funded agency, the funded research are based on the population, or some few percentage of the research, they are population study. Otherwise, all the social science branches, we are going for a sample study. Now, in your college, if there are 200 students of BCom, and if you are going to collect the information of all 200 students, like question, how many hours you are spending in the library? How many hours weekly you are spending in the library weekly? Clear? This is the question. So this is which question? This is a ratio based question. All 200 students, they are going to get the information. You are going to collect the information from all 200 students. So roll number 1, roll number 3, 4, 5, so on. Each one of them, they will give the answer that how many hours they are spending in the library. Yes. So what is your research question? Your research question, it is based on ratio. You had asked very simple question that how many hours you are spending in the library. That is the question you had asked to the respondent. And all 200 respondent, you are in your college, there are 200 people, and every one of them, they have replied that. So maybe roll number 1, he's saying that in a week he is spending around 18 hours. This person is very lazy, is spending 3 hours. This person is spending 25 hours. Clear? So this way, all 200 students, they are giving the answer. And if I do the total of that, assume that that total I am getting 1980. So this is the total 1980. This 1980, if I divide by 200, what I will get? Write in the chat box. What I'll get? 1980, if I divide by the number of respondent, I will get something. What is that value? Value I know. But what is it is known as? Value I know. Value I know. It is around 9.9, yeah? Average. Sima is writing average. Okay, people are writing average. How to denote that average? Mean. Okay, mean, fine. Mean time spent. Very nice, Dr. Divesh. Mean time spent. Mean. But how to denote that? What is a symbol? X bar you want to say? If you confirm that X bar, then say write yes in the chat box. Sigma, mu. Yes, X bar. Many people are saying X bar. No. Statistical faculty are there in the class. Clear? So many people confuse this. They are saying that it is average. This is mean. And we consider this as the X bar. No, this is not X bar. This is mu. Yeah, this is mu. So because we have taken into consideration all the information, all the unit of a research question, and all the unit of research question that all participant, yeah, so all students of your college you have included, so you have taken into consideration population. Any information based on the population value, it is known as population parameter. So here mu, it is the population parameter. My 200 responses, and it is a population parameter. My mu value, it is 9.9. Person, it is deviating. Suppose I am writing 9. This person is deviating by 9 hours positively, and this person, it is deviating 6 hours. Clear? Both are deviating. This is called deviation. How you are deviating from your central value. So this deviation, it is known as sigma. If you do the square, then it is sigma square. So mu, sigma, sigma square, and capital N, these are based on the entire population information. So these are known as population parameters. These are known as parameter. Now, rather than asking to all 200 students the same question, now you can consider that I do not want to go for a population study. From 200, using any sample technique, you are saying that I will be selecting only 50 respondents, and you are going to asking the same question, that how many hours you are spending in the library. Clear? So 1, 2, 3, 4, say. Similarly, you will get the answer from all the 15 participants. All 50 participants, there you got the answer from them. And if you do the total, suppose by that total, I am assuming that you are getting 750. Clear? So if you divide 750 by 50, you are getting, this is just the random numbers, okay? So 750, if you are divide by 50, you will get 15. So this 15, it is also an average. But this average, it is from sample. So I am denoting it by X bar. So X bar, capital N, how much it is deviation, that deviation it is known as S, and how much variance it is S square. This all calculation I am performing on the basis of the sample information. So this is called sample statistics. Now, when we are doing the hypothesis testing, we have two things. You know what is mu, you know capital N, you know sigma, what is sigma square. So these are the things you are calculating on the basis of population. So these things are known as population parameter value. If you are collecting the sample information, then you will get the sample statistics, and it is like X bar, small n, S, and S square. Now, almost all the social science researchers, we identify or we do sample study. We are never going for a population study. Yeah, hardly we go for population study. If you are going for a population study, then the hypothesis will not come in picture. We are going for a sample study, and to make the generalization, we have to rely on the hypothesis. So mostly all the social science researcher, we are going for a sample study. So if you are going for a sample study, this information, it is known to you. This information, it is known to you. We are never going for a population study. That means the population parameter values will be unknown. This thing will be unknown to us. The things which are not known to us, for that we have to make an assumption. For that we have to make an assumption. Clear? So X bar, N, S, and S square, it we can get from the sample. We are never collecting the population information. So mu, capital N, sigma, sigma square will be unknown to us. The things which are known, we are trying, that things are already known. So the unknown things, we have to make an assumption. This particular things are unknown, so that's why we have to make an assumption. So this is called assume value. So what we are doing in the hypothesis testing, the things which are unknown to us, we have to make an assumption for that. So this is called assume value. The things which are known to us, that means this is from sample. So sample information, it is known to us, and for that we can calculate the things. So this is called calculated value. Now we are trying to compare our calculated value with the assumed value, and then we are saying that is there any significant difference between the two? Clear. So what we are doing, on the basis of our sample information, we are trying to make generalization for the population. If my sample is like that, my population would be like that only. So whatever the information you have collected from a sample, that on the basis of that calculated information, you are making the generalization. Clear? So population information, it is not known, and that's why we have to make an assumption, and then we are trying that is there any difference between this assumed and calculated value. So that's why somebody has written that key hypothesis, that is no change. Clear? Something like that someone has written. So then when in the process of a hypothesis, we are saying that there is no significant difference. What is that? In your assumed value and calculated value, you are comparing and you are drawing the conclusion whether to accept the hypothesis or to reject the hypothesis. Now the next step in a statistical analysis, null hypothesis. What is that? Null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. Can anybody write in the chat box what is null? Null is not, no relationship, okay, fine, assuming it to be okay. Oh, no significant difference between parameter, and very nice, okay. So statistically, you all are knowing that is null hypothesis, but when you are trying to set the hypothesis for your research paper, sometimes it is difficult for us. So null hypothesis, we are always testing for possible rejection, and that's why many statistical faculty in the class, they are teaching to the students that null hypothesis, it is always framed negatively with the words no, not. Clear? So what null hypotheses are always tested for possible rejection, as if you want to reject that, and that's why the name is null. You want to nullify the effect, and that's why the name is null, as if you want to reject your hypothesis. That way you have to test the null hypothesis, and that's why most of the time we are writing the negative statement in the null hypothesis, like there is no association, there is no correlation, there is no significant difference. Clear? But why it is like the null hypothesis, it is negatively statement. If I have to talk to laymen, corporate people, clear, so what I can do in that case, what result you want, so what is your probable result of your thesis, of your research? Probable result, what is your probable outcome? So from pilot testing, from literature review, we can predict, we can identify, we can get the clue. So that would be my probable result. So in the research journey, when you are doing this, that time we, through our literature review or through our pilot study, we may get the idea that what would be the probable result of my study. Yeah, what will be the probable outcome of my research journey? So this you can, opposite to that, you have to set the hypothesis, null hypothesis. So you want, as if you want to reject that way. So what are your probable result, what is your probable outcome? Opposite to that, you set the null hypothesis, and that way you have to reject. Now, when I'm teaching this in the class of statistics, when I'm saying that probable null hypothesis, it is a hypothesis tested for rejection. So students, they are asking me, madam, my hypothesis, I'm not able to reject, it is getting accepted. So can I write that? Can I change the statement and I'll reject that? No, you're not supposed to change the statement of hypothesis. You don't write the word accepted. Here, write the reject or do not reject. So if you are not able to reject the hypothesis, do not change the statement of your null hypothesis, and then by that way you reject. No, that way it is not allowed. You cannot do that way. So take an example, very simple example, that COVID or the drug manufacturing company, they are manufacturing some drug against the COVID disease. So when the R&D department of a particular pharmaceutical company, they are in the process of developing that drug, what they are saying, this drug is not effective. Clear? What result they want? They want that drug is to be effective. So R&D department of a pharmaceutical company, when they are working, they want the result as effective. But when they start hypothesis, they say that drug is not effective, and then they start testing this on animals. Clear? And if there is no harm to animal in the second stage, they are as testing on human beings. And then they are saying that we have tested this drug on animals and human beings, and there is no side effects. So we are rejecting our null hypothesis and concluding that that drug is actually effective. Yeah. So whatever the result you want to get out of your thesis, of your research journey, opposite to that, you have to set the hypothesis, and that way you have to reject. Like sales and sales number, sales or the advertising. You want that, you know that there is a relation between the two, and at the end, as a manager of a particular firm, you want to prove that yes, there is a relation between the two. But when we are setting the hypothesis, what we are doing, we are saying that the sales data and advertisement, they both are not related. There is no association, there is no correlation. So through our collected information, we are saying, we are collecting the information, and then we are rejecting that there is a relation. If you spend more, the sales would be more, something like that. Clear? So null hypothesis is always opposite to your probable result. What is alternate hypothesis? Alternate hypothesis, it is nothing but the researcher claim. Alternate hypothesis, it is nothing but the researcher claim. What you want to prove, that is reflected in the alternative hypothesis. So alternative hypothesis, it is opposite to your null hypothesis. When I did my PhD long back, that time we used to report null hypothesis, but now the current research fashion, we in the thesis, in the research publication, we are reporting alternative hypothesis. Our claim we are reporting. So till now we have covered that what is descriptive statistics, what is inferential statistics, what is population parameter, what is null hypothesis, what is alternative hypothesis. Clear? So parameter values are unknown, and the things which are not known to us, for that we need to set the hypothesis. Null hypotheses are tested for possible rejection. Yeah. Okay. Let us go further. Now, in the hypothesis, uh, or in the statistical tools or the package that I'm using, that is SPSS. So yesterday somebody has asked me the question that, madam, nominal, ordinal, interval, what scale I have to use? Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So for your questionnaire designing, go for maximum of these questions: interval and ratio. If you have interval and ratio data, later on, if you wish, your guide is saying that convert that. So then interval and ratio data, that is a scale data can be easily converted into categorical information. But if you have nominal and ordinal data, if you have already collected and later on you want to convert that into interval and ratio, this is impossible. This is impossible. You cannot. Yeah. So I normally advise my PhD scholar that go for interval and ratio data, collect the maximum interval and ratio data, and later on you convert them into categorical to prepare what is called attributions, or you prepare for making a graphical representation, you can convert them. Okay. So how to convert that? Somebody has asked me, I remember that question. Suppose if I have collected the information in this format, like age, that is a categorical variable. If I'm ticking on this, will you able to know my age exactly? That I'm 44 years old. Will you get this idea? No. So if I have asked the age in a categorical question, my age it is 45, 44, you will never come to know that I am having this age. That means if you have a categorical question and if you want to fill this gap, it is impossible. That I have already spoken. Just a minute. Mommy class માં જો પછી phone કરો છો. Okay. So if I have asked the question in this format, so suppose the age I had asked in this format and there are 10 respondents, each one of them, they have given the answer like 40, 42, 43, 38, something like that. So later on, if I want to prepare a category like this, 38 to 40, 40 to 42, I can prepare. How many people are there here? It is 38, this is 43, this is 40. So this way I can get the idea that in this category I have 3 respondents, this category I have this. So from ratio, I can always convert that scale into categories. Yeah. Suppose you have asked the question like in this format, rate your respondent on 5 Likert scale, a 10 Likert scale, and now you want to convert that into category. It is possible. As a researcher, you can decide that I can convert this 1 to 2, 1 to 4 as 1, 5 to 6 as 2, 7 to 10 as 3, and I can mark them as low, medium, and high. Yeah. So this is interval scale, 3 categories possible. How it is possible? Let us take a view through the tools that I am going to use. That is the SPSS that I am using. So just a minute. Let me open that. Yeah, it is starting. Just a minute. Wait for it. Okay. Just a minute. I want another file. I have by mistake. I have opened another file. DVD. Yeah. Okay. I hope this SPSS file is visible to you all. Okay, fine. So if you see that, I'm assuming that you have a basic knowledge of SPSS, and with that assumption, I'm starting. Okay. If you don't know, then do let me know so that I can give 5 minutes and then I can start with the SPSS. Write in the chat box. I am assuming that the basic knowledge you are having. Nobody's writing. That means you know. Fine. I'm assuming that you have a basic knowledge of SPSS. So with that, I'm starting. Okay. So now here few data it is there like there are 8 variables I am having: age, sex, focus group, price, ease, look, support, and function. Yeah. Now, if you see the age, then this age I have collected as a scale variable. And if you see the data view, the respondent number 1 age it is 18, respondent number 19 age it is 27, and so on. Clear? So that means this is the ratio based form. Respondent number 52 age it is 51. Clear? Respondent number 39 age it is 41. So that means this is the open ended question, the ratio based question I have asked. So this is age, and maybe I have given question like this. So people, they have entered their age in this open ended question. So I have collected the data in the form of ratio. Now later on, if your guide is saying that this is fine, you have collected the data, this is ratio form, but now I want 3 categories, 3 or 4 categories, is it possible to do? Yeah, with the help of the statistical tool it is always possible. That how you can do it. Normally, I have seen students or research scholar or even a faculty member, as soon as they get the data entered in SPSS or any other software, they go with the analyze function. Before analyze, you can always use any other function like data, transform. Yeah. So that data can be possible. So rather than directly jumping onto analyze function, go for transform function. Yeah. How to do it? So now you have one function transform, and now you want to convert your ratio based data into category. So for that you have this function called visual binding. Click on that. The variable which you are trying, that you have to drag here and drop. I have done it. Continue. Now software is asking the what you want. You have to give a new label. Just a minute. I have to show that age wala only one question I am having. So if you see the variable view, in variable view, see here I have only one question of age. I have only 8 questions. After running this function, I will be having 9th question as age. So let us perform analyze. Go to visual binding, age, continue. I want this age as new age. Using this now, software, the statistical package which I am using, it is showing that the maximum age of a respondent, a minimum it is 18 and maximum is 63. So I can start preparing classes from 18. If I wish, I can start preparing from 15 also. Clear? So how many cut points you want, that means how many classes you want. Before that, I just want to ask one question. If you have a chalk stick, and if you break that chalk stick 3 times, how many pieces you will get in your hand? Write in the chat box. You have one chalk stick you are having, you are breaking it 3 times. How many chalk stick pieces you will get it in your hand? Write in the chat box. How many? Nobody's writing. That means nobody's listening, is it? Have you done this experiment earlier also? How many pieces you will get? Assume that this is a chalk stick. I am breaking 3 times. 1, 2, 3. How many chalk stick pieces I will be having after completing this process? Oh my God, no. Vidya is raising hand. I don't know why. Okay. So if you break the chalk sticks 3 times, you will get 4 pieces. You will get 4 pieces. Clear? So here also your software is asking that how many cut points you want. Clear? So the cut point, if you click that, What first point? What is your first class you required? I want 15. How many cut points you want? I want 3 cut points. That means if I'll do 3 cut point, I will be having 4 classes with the interval 16. Automatically software is calculating. Apply. If you want to see the classes that software is preparing, then it is make label. Here it is displayed. Here it is displayed that, just a minute, madam is sending me the message. Okay, fine. Thank you, Vijaya Lakshmi madam, for giving me this. So the computer is going to prepare the class like less than 50, it is a first class, 16 to 31, it is second class, 32 to 47, and the 48. If you can do okay, and then the one variable will be created. So that variable, it is there here. The new variable will be created, and if you see this new variable in the variable view, see new age, it is there. So software has created automatically, categories are there. See, my first category, it is a year less than 15. Second category, it is 16 to 31. Third category, it is 32 to 47, and last category is 48. Yeah, so automatically I have not done this, calculation is performed by software. I can take this new age with the age ke baju mein I can write. So I can replace this function and I can paste it here. So new age will be here. And if you see the data view here, the person age, it is 18. It is in the second bracket category. The person age, it is 40, he is in the third category. So computer has prepared this by its own. So if you have a ratio based data, you can convert into categories, and these categories are displayed. So if you want to check, you can click this. The 20% age, it is 28, it is in bracket of 16 to 31. If my age, it is 36, I am in the bracket of 32 to 47. So this is prepared by software. Yeah, fine. Chalo, let us do one more thing. Now, suppose if I can see the price options, it is from 1 to 10. And if you see in the data view, where is the price? The price, people have given responses on the 1 to 10 points. Can you see this? 1 to 9, 7. This way people have given the responses. Yeah. So 1 to 9, 6, 5, and these are the responses. Now, you have already asked this question in the interval scale 1 to 10. Now you want to convert this into categories. This question answered, you are already having this response, and you want that price. You want now this price question as very low price, medium price, or high price. Yeah. This way you want the responses. So now data has already been collected. What to do? You are not going to collect again. Yeah. So the function is that you ask this software to convert. Okay, convert this categories like 1 to 4 you make 1, 5 to 6 you make 2, 7 to 10 you can make it 3. So this 1, 2, 3, it is nothing but the low, medium, and high. So that is possible. You can do this way. So fine, I have this variable. I have now 9 questions. I'm going to generate the 10th question by applying these steps. Yeah, so I'm trying, go to transform. You have one function called record into different variables. Yeah, decode into different variables. You have one function record into same variable. So if you go for the upper one, the record into same variable, then your original responses will be your new answer or new calculation will be superimposed on the old values. So you may lose your old data. So if you want to remain with your old data and new calculation, you go for the record into different variables. So we are going for record into different variable. I want price to be converted into category. Drop it. Give the name to the price. Price new. Label also I am giving new price. Okay, you change. You want this old and new values to be changed. So now you want this to change. So 1 to 4 responses that respondents has given, This 1 to 4, you want computer to make it 1. So your old value which is there 1 to 4, now you want new value as 1. The range 5 to 6 that you are having, now you want computer to change 5 6 responses into 2, add, and the responses that respondent have given between 7 to 10, now you want the software to convert that as a 3, which is very high, add, continue, okay, executed. So you have answer like here, say new variable price, new, it is there. You can give the values like 1 is equal to very low, add, 2 is equal to medium, 3 is equal to very high, add, okay. So now you can say the date, okay, I can take this price function near to my price. Now you can see the data value. So the responses given on the 9, it is now converted as 3. Responses given on 10, it is 3. Response at is 6, it is converted as 2. So high, medium, low values, it is converted automatically by the software. So what is questionnaire analysis design that we have talked yesterday? Go for maximum ratio and interval scale, and later on if you feel that I want to convert this data, you can always convert that. Yeah, that is possible, you can convert. So always relate your data with the ratio and scale, or ratio and interval scale. Fine. Okay, chalo. Now, so what statistical tools you can apply for your data? So there are many statistical tools you can apply. We can start with the family of t-test. So as I told you yesterday that what kind of a statistical treatment you are going to give to your data, it is dependent on your measurement scale. Clear? So if your measurement scale is different, you can generate the different values. So your measurement scale plays very important role in deciding your statistical tool. Your statistical tool, it is based on your data measurement scale. So data measurement, it is most important, and that's why I have related with the questionnaire designing also. Right. So t-test, suppose you, there are 3 types of a statistical t-test you can perform. One sample t-test, two sample independent t-test, independent t-test, and 3 dependent sample t-test, dependent sample t-test. Yeah. So these are the basic statistical tools that you can apply for your data. One sample t-test, two sample t-test, two sample independent t-test, and dependent sample test. So in that family of T, we have this much. Okay. Now, if you want to perform one sample t-test, what will be the data measurement scale required? What kind of a question you can ask? So for performing a one sample t-test, you should have one question, and that question should be scale question. That question could be scale question. Yeah? Scale means that question could be interval, it could be ratio. That could be interval, it could be ratio. So if you want to perform a one sample t-test, that time you should have at least one question, and that question must be scale question. Scale means interval or ratio, anything. Fine. Interval or ratio, anything. Suppose if you want to do the hypothesis testing, like average age of this participant, it is 38. Yeah, this is the hypothesis. You want to check that the participant average age is 38. Now collect the information and test it. So for this, what will be your question? You can ask age in this format. Age, it is in ratio format. Yeah. So if you are asking, if you are interested in knowing the, like, if your hypothesis, if you are doing the income analysis of this participant, then you can say that income of, average income of this group, it is 50,000. So then that case, you have to collect the question in this format: income ratio. If it is in this format, then only you will be able to do one sample t-test. Otherwise, it is not possible. Clear? Otherwise, it is not possible to go for a statistical analysis of t. So, which statistical tool you use, you can go for a one sample t-test. Now, this is ratio. Fine. It should be normal distributed. Okay. Now, if you have a one question and which is ordinal question, clear? So I'm relating t-test ke saath, along with the t-test, I'm relating some other things also. So suppose you have one question and that is ordinal scale, like IQ score of group of students. Rate your IQ scale on 1 to 5 scale. IQ on 1 to 5. Clear? Number, give the ranking, something like that that you are having. So this way, if you are asking that, so you can perform this kind of a statistical analysis. Why I'm not able to delete? Okay, fine. Clear? So maybe a median score or rate your IQ as medium, low, and high. Suppose you are giving this kind of a options. IQ. If you have this, my IQ, it is very high, it is medium, it is low. This is ordinal. So if it is an ordinal question and only one question you are having, then you can do binomial test out of this. Yeah. So I'm talking about t-test. So this example I have given along with that. If you have only one question and that question is ordinal, what you can do? You can go for a binomial test. Clear? But one performing the one sample t-test, you have to have a scale data. Scale data is must. Now, somebody can ask me, Madam, I have only one question and that question it is category. Clear? I have only one question and that question it is category. So you can go for a chi-square goodness of fit. Clear? Now, suppose now you want to do the independent sample t-test. Two sample independent sample t-test. What is a data measurement scale requirement here? If you want to perform the independent sample t-test, then you should have two questions. Question 1, question 2. Your first question can be a categorical question. You can have one categorical question with two categories. One categorical question with two categories, and another question should be scale question. So if you have two questions, like one question it is scale question and another question it is categorical question, by combining these two question, you can do independent sample t-test. Now, all the statistics book which you are referring, what they are saying that to find out the mean differences between the two samples, you can perform the independent sample t-test. So when we are writing the hypothesis, what we are writing? Mu1 and mu2, it is equal to each other. Clear? So what we are checking, when you are performing the independent sample t-test, my students, they are saying that, Madam, I have referred many research paper and then after reading that research paper, I conclude that with gender, with marital status, all the researcher, they have done independent sample t-test. So with gender, I can do independent sample and marital status, I can do independent sample t-test. But with age, they have not performed. With the age, they have performed some another test. So I cannot conclude if there is a gender, then I can go for only sample t-test. No. If you have a gender as a question only with the two category male and female, then only you can go for independent sample t-test. So when students, they are referring the research paper, they forget to read that independent sample t-test, it is possible to identify the differences between mean of two category. What are these two category? Mean differences of male respondent and mean difference of mean of a female, that we are trying to compare. So that's why with gender, every time the research paper are indicating that it is an independent sample t-test. Yeah. So second test of a family of t-test, I have independent sample t-test and questions I have given. So what would be the question, like gender as an independent variable? You can have like this: gender, male and female. Yeah, that one question. What would be the second question? Rate your satisfaction of seventh pay effect on 1 to 7 Likert scale point. So one question, it is categorical. Yes, my first question is categorical. It is having two categories. Yes, I have two categories. Another question, it is scale question. Yes, it is scale question. By combining these two questions, you can do independent sample t-test. The statistical tool for this, it is independent sample t-test you can perform. Fine. So now, when I've talked about the independent sample t-test, let me talk about some other things also. Like, if you have what is called ordinal data like this, suppose factory, you have two factories, factory A and factory B, and you have productivity levels of employees. So productivity levels of employees are recorded like 1, 2, 3, high productivity, medium productivity, low productivity. Now, here I have two levels here. Two categories are there, and this is not the scale question. This is ordinal question. So with ordinal question, you cannot perform independent sample t-test. This time you can go for Wilkinson or man-witness u-test. Clear? Or man-witness u-test can be performed. So if it is a scale question and with the two categories, you can go for independent sample t-test. Yeah. So now along with that, if you have a nominal data, and one like you have, suppose you want the socioeconomic status. Socioeconomic status are represented like this: low, medium, and high. This is independent variable. And what type of a school you have attended? Type of a school, public school or private government school? Clear? Public or government? Or government, it is public. Sorry. So it is a private. I want to write. Yeah. So here two categories are there, but here I have questions which is nominal. You can say that you have two, low or medium status, like that. Clear? So in that you can, maybe sometimes you can do a Fisher exit test with the less than 5 expected count. This can be done. Now independent sample t-tests are over. You can, like, what is a dependent t-test? So dependent t-test is also known as paired comparison. It is also known as related sample t-test. Yeah. So these are the synonyms of this. Dependent sample t-test, that means your samples are dependent on each other. You are studying the sample in pair. Like, before after information you are collecting, what is the students performance before Diwali vacation and what is the students performance after Diwali vacation. So you have studied the sample twice. The same sample you have studied twice. When you are studying the sample twice with the short period, you can go for a minimum dependent t-test. But if suppose I have studied the MG Narega scheme in 2015, 2020 also I have studied, and right now also if I'm doing that, so this data, my sample, even though I'm using the same unit, same block, same sample, but this time I have to go for a panel discussion, panel data. Yeah. So dependent paired comparison, what will the data measurement scale requirement? Both the questions should be scale question. Both the questions should be scale question. Like, what is the marks that student have got before Diwali and what is the marks students have got after Diwali? Both the data that I am collecting, it is scale data, it is ratio data. So with this, you can perform the dependent, related, independent scale. Now, many times people, they understand that when I'm collecting before after information, that time only I can go for independent t-test. Now, there are other categories also for a dependent t-test. Like, if you have a question, kindly rate your familiarity of internet, how familiar you are with internet on 1 to 5 scale. And also second question I am having, also rate your familiarity with the online classes. Clear? This question, it is also I have asked on 1 to 5 scale. So both, it is this data, it is related. If I'm good with internet, I can go for online classes very easily. So this data which I'm collecting, it is related with each other. So both the information that I am having, that is interval data. So with interval data, you can go for a dependent sample t-test. So family of t-test, independent one sample t-test, one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, and I have dependent sample t-test. For performing the one sample t-test, I should have one question of scale. For performing the independent sample t-test, I should have two questions. One question it is category, and another question could be scale. But in category, I must have two categories. For dependent question, dependent t-test, I should have two questions, and both the questions could be scale question. Yeah. So if you have the measurement scales information, with measurement scales, you can perform the test. So before performing the statistical analysis, you should decide that, okay, in this data, I want to go for independent sample t-test. So while designing the questionnaire, you have to check that I should have one scale question and another category question. That way you design a questionnaire, collect the data, and then run the independent sample t-test. I hope it is clear. And let us move further. With this, okay, let me check. Is there any chat box whether that kind of generalization is correct, positive? No, no questions are asked there. Audio problem. Can you define ma'am normal distribution? I can define normal pre-COVID. Somebody is writing pre-COVID, post-COVID. Yes, that is also an example of dependent. Yes, very nice. Pre-post it is pair. Can you define normal distribution? Yes, I can. I'll talk about normal distribution also. Fine. Fine, sure. Now, let us go further with the statistical tool. One more statistical tool that you can apply to your data now, and that is ANOVA. ANOVA also, there are family of ANOVA. Like you can have ANCOVA, you can have MANCOVA. Yeah. So you have two-way ANOVA. So many things are there. I'm talking about the basic. Otherwise, you have two levels repeated ANOVA, and many the things can be performed on this ANOVA. Now, for performing the analysis of variance, you can have what would be the data measurement scale. So performing the ANOVA, you require two questions. One, it is a categorical question, and another, it is a scale question. In category, you should have more than two categories. 3, 4, 5, it is up to you. If it is two category, then you will be having t-test. If it is more than two categories, then it is ANOVA. Like example could be training methods for executives. Which training methods? Kindly select the training method adopted in your corporate. So maybe we are going for group discussion, we are going for role play, we explain our executives through PPT. So these are the three method option that you have given. Yeah, so one categorical question you are having. Yes, I have one categorical question. One categorical question with more than two categories. Yes, it is more than two categories. What will be the second question? Second question could be scale question. Yeah. Second question could be the scale question like annual sales. Write your annual sales and people will respond. So one, I have category. Another question, I have a scale question. In scale, I have ratio. Clear? In scale, I have ratio. With these two, you can go for one-way ANOVA. Yeah. With this, you can go for one-way ANOVA. Now, if you, instead of asking an annual sales in what is called a ratio, if you are asking that into different categories, like what is your annual sale, kindly tick 10,000 to 20,000, 20,000 to 30,000, 30,000 to 50,000. If you have this kind of a ordinal data, so this ordinal data, with this you can go for Kruskal-Wallis test. Yeah. So if you are asking the annual sale in the ratio or interval. Yeah. So it is your choice. That way you can go for one way ANOVA. But if your annual sales data here, if you are asking in the ordinal form, then you can go for Kruskal-Wallis. Clear? Fine. Control. So Kruskal-Wallis says it is the substitute of ANOVA. That also you can say. So now we have completed 4 statistical tools. That is the uh, one sample t-test, 2 sample independent t-test, dependent t-test, and fourth it is ANOVA. And the fourth it is ANOVA. Pair test also we have completed. Yeah. Pair comparison also we have completed. So now if you have like a one dependent variable and one independent variable with 2 labels repeated, yeah, so then in that case if you are more than 2 label and that is repeated, clear, so you can go for Fredman t-test. So that is possible. Fredman test, it is there. So options are varieties or options are you are having. Now basic statistical tools that we can use for our statistical analysis that I'm covering. Chi-squared statistical tool. So for performing the chi-square, you should have questions, and both the question must be categorical. Both the question must be categorical in nature. Yeah. So category means both the question must be tick wala question like this. So to perform the chi-square analysis, you should have you must have 2 questions, and both the question must be categorical in nature. Like, tell me your gender, male, female, and tell what about your driving skills. Rate your driving skill. Very nice, good, medium, poor. Yeah. So many times my husband is saying that the female's driving skill is very poor, and I want to test this hypothesis whether that observation made by him it is correct or not. For that, I can have this 2 type of a question. Now both the questions, they are categorical in nature. Here I am going to take this category, and here I am going to take this category. So when both the questions they are categorical in nature, you can go for chi-square statistical analysis. Now, in chi-square also, for that I have to check the higher. Just a minute. एक minute. I want to show something. I'm not showing. I am confirming whether I am correct or not. Okay. So if both the questions are nominal, it is pi. Fine. Both are Somers D. Fine. Okay, I have confirmed. Now, if you have 2 categorical question and both the categorical questions are nominal, yeah, both are nominal. So in that case, with 2 nominal questions, you can go for Cramer's V or pi. If you have both the ordinal questions, both the questions are ordinal, then you can go for Somers tree. If you have one ordinal and one nominal, then you can go for chi-square. Then you can go for chi-square. Now the example of ordinal I can give like this. Do you think that age and income they are related? So age, order of age, it is increasing here. Dekho, it is increasing. And income that age is asked, that is also ordinal in nature. That income of 1 lakh to 2 lakh, 2 to 4 lakh, ऐसे ही लिखना था, clear? And 4 to 10 lakh, 4 to 6 lakh, clear? So here, both the variable, they are categorical, but that category it is ordinal. Here, order of age, it is increasing. Order of income, it is increasing. So when you have both the question as ordinal question, you can go for Somers D. Is there any question in the chat box? Ma'am, please highlight on correlation, regression factor. Yes, I am going to. The next bit is that only. Internet connection is too poor. Shanti is saying, sorry for that. My connection is poor or your?
Participant, you may want to check your connection because others, it's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Okay. Now, if you want to do correlation, somebody has written, Madam, what is to be done with correlation? So for having correlation, you can have all question a scale question. All question scale question. When I'm saying scale, that means it could be ratio, it could be interval. It is up to you. So for performing a correlation analysis, all the question must be scale question. Yeah, scale ratio based, or you can have interval. Like the same example I can repeat. If you want to want to know the relation between age and income, age and income are associated, age and income are correlated with each other, then if you have age is the ratio form and income is also in the ratio form, income also ratio, by combining this to scale ratio question, you will be able to do correlation. Okay. Now somebody has written regression factor analysis. Let me talk about that school also. And then I'll talk about the normality that one person has asked me. Now for performing a regression analysis, all the question must be scale question. With or categorical question, some other kind of things can be performed. Clear? So ordered logistic regression that can be done. But if you're a predicting tool, regression scale question, like, let me give the example. Okay, if you want to predict the students performance in the exam, so performance of the students can be recorded as marks or grade. So this marks question could be a ratio question. So performance of a students, it is dependent on what, how many hours the student is reading, what is the IQ level of the student. I'm assuming few variable. So before I'll explain regression, let me explain the two types of regression. Regression can be of two types. It is simple regression and multiple regression. Yeah. So in regression, I am talking about the two variables, that is dependent and independent variable. So if you have like only two variables, y is it is a function of two. So y it is the one variable, x it is the another variable. If this particular variable it is known to you, you can predict this y. Yeah. So if two variables are relationships are studied for predicting, then that is a simple regression line. Like marks performance of the students, it is dependent on how many hours that student has studied. Yeah. So if you have only one independent variable, then it is called a simple regression. But when you have many very independent variable, then it is a multiple regression. Like y is equal to a, b1x1, b2x2, b3x3, and so on. So that means you have, sorry, it is n4, n, bn, and this is xn, and b9. Xn. Yeah. So when you have a series of independent variable like x1, x2, x3, this independent variable, using this you are trying to predict the dependent variable y. This is called multiple regression. Like if you want to predict the grade of a students in the final university exam, grade it is dependent variable. It is dependent on what? It is dependent on number of hours the student has spent. What is the IQ level of that student? Yeah, number of hours, IQ level. What else I can ask? How many books that students has referred? Yeah. How many books, IQ, hours, or kuch? Okay, so these are the three variables I have written. Yeah. Okay, age of the student that can be written. So if these variables are known to me, I can predict the grade. So all these variable that when you are trying to collect, this must be scale. So you have how many hours you have studied. So your question should be like this: hours, What is your IQ level? How many books you have referred? What is your age? So all this question that you are going to ask to the student, that is scale question, using that you can predict the grade of a students. Yeah. Now, for performing the factor analysis, all the question must be, oh, factor analysis, it is the technique used for data reduction. Factor analysis, it is technique used for data reduction. Those who are planning to go for factor analysis use more than 1 to 7, but use 1 to, don't use 1 to 5 Likert scale, use more than that, then only the factor analysis gives the good result. So for performing the factor analysis, all statements should be scale questions. Clear? With the scale questions, you can perform the factor analysis. Factor analysis, it is a data reduction technique. Now, when you are using the statistical tools, one more concept one person is asked, that whether the data it is normally distributed or not. Yeah. So if your data it is normally distributed, then only you can go for a parametric statistical analysis. If your data is non-normal, that time you can go for non-parametric techniques. Now, here at this point of time, I want to clear this thing. People consider this non-parametric technique as inferior. No, it's not like that. No, it's not like that. Both the technique, they are giving the answer to what is the decision that you are drawing out of a hypothesis. The decision that we do out of a hypothesis, it is only two decision that we can make: reject and do not reject. Yeah, only two. So whether it is a parametric statistical analysis or it is a non-parametric statistical analysis, both the thing it is giving the same answer. So do not consider that way that parametrics are more. Even parametric technique is giving the same answer of rejection or acceptance. Non-parametric also is giving the answer to reject or do not reject. Is parametric taking a answer is giving like that, yes, I am able to reject this with this percentage? No. No statistical answer technique it is giving this. So both the techniques are considered equally good. Now, what is normal distribution? In theory, you know that normal distribution, ये बिल्कुल बेल शेप जैसा नहीं लग रहा है, सॉरी, डिलीट नहीं हो रहा है. Here. I'm trying to make bell-shaped distribution. Somewhat it is looking like bell-shaped distribution. Clear? So theoretically, we know what is bell-shaped distribution, that this is the normal distribution curve, 50% observation on this side, 50% on this side, the mean, median, mode, error, equal center. So this is we have studied in our school level. So theoretically, we know what is normal distribution, but when we are checking the normality of a data, that time problems comes. So if what kind of, if I have to take this concept to the layman, then what example I am giving. Suppose that we all are faculties and we are teaching in the class. Yeah. So with this, suppose your class is going very smoothly. So then we are saying that the things are normal. F test, it is ANOVA test. Somebody has written F test, it is ANOVA test. Fine. So your class is going smoothly. You have 120 students and everything is going as per your planning. So when data is behaving the way you wanted that data to behave, you will get the normality. Like class, we want all 120 students to be highly disciplined. When you are talking, they must pay attendance. And if they are not, then it disturbs us. Clear? So when you're teaching and 2-3 students sitting at the back side, the back benches, they are creating some noise, what we are doing? We are giving warning to them. See, you are in my eye. Now onwards, if you do this behavior, I will take you out of the class. I will take you to the director's cabin. Clear? So what we have done, we have given a treatment. What is that treatment? It is a minor treatment. Clear? It is a minor treatment. We have given the warning. Now, repeatedly, the students, they are behaving. When you are writing something on a blackboard, they again start doing, they are circulating the cheats, they are writing many things, they are disturbing the whole class. And this kind of a behavior you have seen consistently. So, what are you saying? Get out of the class. If now this 4 students, they remain present in my class, I will not conduct any class. So the whole class, they are saying, "यार आप लोग घर चले जाओ, madam is getting angry, you go out of the class." So students, second treatment what I have given, I have deleted them from my class, I have removed them from my class. So when you are observing the data could be of two types, like the data or the responses that you are getting, it is could be of two treatment, you can see. So suppose the age, it is the variable that is studied for your research question, and some of the respondents, they have not, you are not getting the normality. Age is a variable, and when you are trying to plot the normal distribution of a age, you are not getting. So without normality, you cannot perform the parametric statistical test. So then you have started identifying. So few respondent you have identified that they have not given the answer of their age. This is called mild outliers. So what you can do, you can ask your admin, you can ask your field executive to call them, and after calling them, if they are giving the answers, you have to include that as in your data analysis, and then run the, what is that, the treatment you have given. In the first case, what treatment I have given to my student, I have given warning. Clear? So because they were mild at that time. So similarly, I'm saying that all the students are my data, they are variables for me. Clear? So similarly, when the respondent, they have not responded, I have called them, I have got the, and then I have tried. Okay, so I have given a treatment, and that is a minor treatment I have given of calling. So what is that called as? Converting non-response into response. Now, there are few respondents, you are calling them, you are saying that yes, your age is very important to me, but they are not responding. So what you can do, if they are not responding, what treatment I have given to the students, I have removed them from the class. You can remove them from your analysis, delete that cases from your analysis, and then try, are you getting the normal distribution? Now, normality and the sample size are very well connected with each other. So if somebody has asked me, let me talk about that. Many a times, I think before 5-7 years, my many papers were rejected by the international journal, saying that you Indian researcher have, I think my whiteboard is not visible. Let me share. Sorry. Sorry for that. 100%. Suppose that international journals, they are they have rejected my paper, saying that you have 100% response. So when we are deleting the cases which is having the extreme outliers, so extreme outliers we have to reject. Okay. So in the normality, when you do the box and whisker plot, using box and whisker plot, you will get two types of outliers: mild outlier and extreme outliers. Mild outliers you can give treatment. Extreme outliers, they are very difficult. Because of this extreme outliers, you are not getting the normality, so you have to delete them. What we are doing, if we have deleted something, then we are adding more responses. Don't do that way. If you are doing that way, you are adding more cases. Don't do that way. And this way, suppose we are sample size calculator we are using, and using a sample size calculator, you have determined your sample size, it is, say for an example, 600. Yeah, I have seen that the sample size determination, it is done on 600 size, and you have collected exactly 600. Is it possible that each and every one of them whom you have contacted, they have given response? Not necessarily. Yeah. So your determined sample size is 600 and your collected sample is also 600. It gives you 100% response rate. Having 100% response rate, it is impossible. But we researcher, we do this way because we have determined 600 and we have to know. You need not have to do that. With 600, what you can say that my sample size, determined sample size is 600. I have distributed my questionnaire on so and so date, and I have kept 3 months for a deadline for submission. You have received, suppose, 37 responses after your deadline. So, responses received after your deadline, it changes. So, attitude, perception changes after your timeline. So, do not include them in your analysis. Remove them, even though they have responded. Clear? 37. Now, there are people, those who have given the wrong information, like you are asking like what is which bank you are using. So he is taking HSBC. Which bank, private, public, or foreign bank? And then HSBC, they have take private. So that is the information. It is wrong. They are not aware about such kind of a wrong information. People, maybe you have 23 responses like this. Remove that 23 from your analysis. Remove them. So now, suppose some of the questions it is halfly filled. Remove them, don't ask them. Yeah, other, if you want to convert that response into non-response into response, you can do that way. uh, Maybe some responses that you think it is inappropriate, maybe because of some reason. So now if you delete this, if you do the total, then you will get 540 around. Yeah, 600 minus 37 and 23. If you do this, then you may get 540. Divide 540 by 600. It is called 90%. It is considered very high rate. Having 60 to 70% response rate, it is considered fair enough for research. Clear? So if your determined sample size, it is 600, and if you are able to collect the responses of 420, 420 divided by 600, you are getting 70%. Again, it is considered very high. So determine your sample size and do not collect the information from each one of them. There are chances people, they don't respond. Not necessarily whatever the questionnaire you have sent, they are responding. No, they are not responding. But they are part of your sample survey. Remove them. They have not responded. It's okay. So your determined sample size is 600, and if you are getting the response of 420, that's 70% response rate. It is fair enough. Don't try to include all 600. Remove them. If you have sent the questionnaire through Google link or through any other sources, and if they are not responding, do not include any other cases. Don't include. Yeah. So I hope the normality and the sample size correlation that I have done, it is understood to each one of them. The last thing, before 3 minutes are still left, before that I want to say that all research hypothesis means the hypothesis which comes from your objectives, that is called research hypothesis. They are negatively worded. All assumption based hypotheses are always positively worded. Means normal distribution, it is positively worded. Clear? Run test, randomness, it is positively worded. Variance, it is positively worded. Like, what is the hypothesis for case test? Case test, it is used for checking the normality of a distribution. And this hypothesis is not negatively worded. The hypothesis for case test is data follows normality. It is positively worded. What is the hypothesis for run test? If you want to check the randomness of a data follows randomness. And for that, we are doing run test. It is positively worded. Variances are equal. Variances are equal. This is the assumption we are checking. Clear? So this is the hypothesis for Levin's test. So these are positively worded. So any assumptions you are checking for data, that it is always positively worded. Any hypothesis which is coming from your research objectives, they are always negatively worded. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now this session, it is open for question answer.
Participants, I have unmuted the audio and video. Just give me 1 minute.
Ma'am, is there any tool that we can use to compare two or more firms, like satisfaction of services, which is measured by measuring service quality of two firms? Okay, if you have service quality of two firms, what are the questions you have asked, my dear? If you have, suppose, service quality, rate the service quality of A firm and B firm. Yeah, firm A, sorry. Kindly take the firm A, firm B. So suppose respondent will take this. This is first question. Rate your service quality on 1 to 5, 1 to 7 scale. This is scale question. One scale question, one categorical question with two firm. You can do independent sample t-test. Fine. Hope I have given the answer. Using servo call instrument, yes, somebody has told. Okay, very informative. Fine. Yes, can anybody read the question on my behalf? Other
Yes, ma'am.
question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. There was one question, ma'am. Sanesh KP has asked whether generalizing the statistical results with available response rate affects the generalization.
Yes, whatever the generalization you are doing. Oh, this is the wonderful question. Why we are not writing the word accepted? This is because of this only. So, whatever the proof you are doing, we are doing with our collected information. And that's why we are never ever writing the word accepted. People consider that accepted, it is a synonyms of do not reject. No, they are not synonyms. If you are writing the word accepted, that means you had made a generalization for entire universe. And that's why we are not writing this. Yeah. So generalization that we are doing with the collected information from our sample.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. There's one more question. Performance evaluation of an institution, which statistical techniques should be used?
Okay. I think the session which I have conducted, it is not properly understood by the participant. Otherwise, this question will not arise. What is a performance evaluation? What measurement scales you are using? Who has asked that question? Can you unmute yourself?
Venkatesha BM, it seems.
Please, sir, talk to me. Venkatesh, sir, can you please unmute yourself and can we have a talk? So, performance evaluation technique, whatever the question you had asked, before that, you have to decide what measurement scale is you are going to use. Yeah. So that measurement scale will decide the statistical technique. You cannot directly ask me that, madam, what is a statistical technique I can use for performance evaluation? How are you going to measure that performance? Yeah. What measurement scale you have used? If you are able to answer that, then I will be able to answer that what statistical technique you can now go for. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, there's one more question. If the proposed sample size is found out to be 200 using solvent's formula, can we still use 70% of 200 as a reasonable respondent size?
You can. If you are having a normality, you can. But whatever the formula, yesterday also I talked, 384, if I'm assuming my probability of success and failure is equal with level of significance 5%, I am getting 384. Clear? So with 200, probably you will not get the normality. So check it whether you have a normal distribution. So more than 384 responses if you are having, then there are chances that your distributions are normally distributed with probability of success and failure as equal 0.5.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. There's one more question that we will take up. One dependent and two independent variables. If both are quantitative means with each independent variable with multiple subvariables, which tool is ideal?
Oh, many things he has asked. So,
Pramod.
Pramod, can I have that independent dependent, like independent variable you have dependent variable, okay? And both are in what is a measurement scale and how many categories?
They're telling that one independent variable, two dependent, one dependent and two independent variables.
One independent, na? That is correct.
Yeah,
One. And
one.
dependent variable you have two.
No, ma'am, one dependent, two independent.
Okay. Dependent it is always one. Sorry, why I'm making mistake. Dependent variable it is always one, and independent variable he is having two. Independent variable two.
But he
Okay.
has subvariables under independent only, multiple.
But subvariable, that means he want to say the categories.
Could be, ma'am. That is what he means to say.
If it is a category, then many things can be performed. Like if all these are independent, so then you can run the cross steps with the this all are categorical question. When he's saying that they all are subcategories, that with subcategories you can run the multiple cross table. So chi-square with layers can be performed. So if he has
Okay.
a question, then I can say with the precision that this could be the probable technique that he can use.
Okay, ma'am. I guess. Okay.
Ma'am, good evening. Sorry, this is Pramod here.
Yeah. What kind of
There
sub
is,
categories or sub variable you are talking, my dear? Can we have more
uh,
light on that?
yeah, ma'am. I'll just brief it out to you.
Hmm.
I have taken income as my independent variable,
Okay. Income
consumption
it is
and
a
expenditure.
like income you have categories like that is ordinal.
Yes, ma'am. I have
Okay.
divided it into five categories, starting from around 1 lakh to 2 lakhs like that.
Okay.
And then I have consumption and my expenditure. I mean consumption and my savings as my two
Okay. Got it.
dependent
Got
variables.
it. So you have more than two independent variable and one dependent variable and each with the subcategories. Yes, na? So
Yes, correct.
subcategory, that means the options you are saying. You can go for ordered logistic regression.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There's one more question. This is the last question that I'll be taking up. Uh, they're asking that Jamovi software is compatible or SPSS. Which one is more accurate?
So Jamovi, it is a dashboard. It is used for visualization purpose. Yeah. So there are many options for visualization like Jamovi. You have Power BI, you have Tableau, but SPSS it is used for many data analysis can be performed. So if as a researcher I have to choose, I will always go for SPSS or R or SPSS MOs or Smart PLS. So that is a tool that you can use more for a visualization purpose. So Jamovi, you can say that it is a dashboard.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. With respect to the time pertaining to it, I'm just concluding the questioning session. Uh, Questionnaire designing is always a challenging one, irrespective of the stream of research, where you have given us clear vision of sample, hypothesis, parameters, different types of statistical tools used for different purposes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for such valuable knowledge enhancing session. This session was interactive as well interesting. The way you carried out the session is remarkable. We are glad that we could get an opportunity to listen to you. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you,
I would
participant. Thank you, organizing team. Special thank you to Vijayalakshmi madam. I don't know from where she has connected me, but somehow we don't know each other. But then we have connected, and it was a very nice experience that I have. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
thank you, ma'am. I would like to request our dynamic principal, Dr. S. Anil Kumar, to share his few opinion on the webinar to the virtual gathering. Over to you, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I was just listening to some of these questions. Actually, it shows that the amount of interest you have created and curiosity you have created among the participants, actually. So, because any researcher for that matter, the most crucial thing is designing of questionnaire and deciding on the statistical tool. I was just listening to your answers. I think you have really, helped many researchers in these 2 days on various aspects of questionnaire designing and application of various statistical tools and the softwares, etc. So I'm really very grateful to you and happy that you have associated with RV SSMRV College in this national level webinar. I hope we'll meet up sometime in Bangalore whenever you come to Bangalore.
Sure, sir.
Please feel free to come to our institution physically and offline. We can have some programs in our institution. And once again, I would like to thank for taking out your time and sharing your knowledge, because this initiative we do under Faculty Study Circle. The main purpose is to share the knowledge among the faculty. So I think all the faculty, I'm really glad that there are about 850 participants from 26 states. I think it is really a kind of a record. And we have seen, we have organized many such national and international seminars. In most of the webinars, we have uh, seen participants with 800 to 1,000 actually. So that shows the kind of effort or team uh, team from Department of Commerce and the coordinators of the research club and faculty study circle. All of them have taken. Because we believe in not just student centric, we should be faculty centric also, in the sense we should equip our faculty not only in giving learning various pedagogy in teaching, but also in the field of research. So it is one such effort to enhance their knowledge. So I am really happy, and I really appreciate the entire team of SSMRV, especially Ms. Professor Vijayalakshmi, Professor Shakila, Professor Bharati, and Gokul. I mean, there are a lot of faculty who are part of this particular event, and along with the HOD of Commerce, Dr. M.S. Nagraj. So I'm really glad that this has become very successful, and maybe in future we'll be in touch with you and have some more sessions on various other topics. So once again, on behalf of RV Educational Institutions, SSMRV College, and on my behalf, I would like to thank you for being with us as a resource person. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vijayalakshmi madam. Shall I drop from the meeting now, ma'am?
Ma'am, 2 more minutes. Concluding remarks would be given so that we can wind up, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such supportive words. Without you, nothing is possible. You are our motivation. It is known to everyone that you are behind the scenes and making us to do all this. So you have given the opportunity and platform for the right people to reach and approach.
Yes,
Thank you so much, sir.
really deserve.
I request our support system of Commerce Department, our HOD, Dr. M.S. Nagraj, to give concluding remarks. Sir?
Thank you, Bharati, madam.
Thank you.
I know it's been, uh, we have been stretching for more than the time that we have been allotted for the past 3 days. It's been time for most of our faculty members to go back to to their routine. So I will not take much of your time. Another 2 minutes, please bear with me. SSMRV College, which is known for the 360-degree education for wholeness, doesn't restrict the knowledge giving only for the students, but also to the faculty members, which has been rightly put by our principal in his closing remarks. We at SSMRV have various activity club as well as the academic club, and we do n number of activities of different domains. A couple of weeks before, we had from the accounting club we had a program relating to IDSR, and today we have from the research club as well as from the faculty study circle this particular program on research guideline, literature review, questionnaire designing, and application of statistical tool. um, I really have to appreciate the resource person of day one as well as the day two. I know the research topic is such a humongous topic, and loading everything for 3 days is quite a job, uh, a Herculean job. So what we have to appreciate the resource person, uh, both Dr. Priyal Sangvi and Dr. Mamata, for their energy, their simplification of the content. Say whatever the content has been given, it's been simplified to that extent, and their energy and spirit. Most of more than anything, their patience to answer every question, whatever is been posted to them. Yesterday and day before yesterday, it was almost 8:45. Uh, our schedule was to conclude at 8, but still the resource person had took their valuable time, their personal time, to stretch till 8 for more than whatever we have scheduled. Thank you very much, madam, for your support, and whatever the content that you have delivered. Of course, the testimony of the success is the amount of questions that has been raised and the interest that you have generated to the participant to raise the question. So thank you very much for your, on my behalf, on my institutional behalf. Thank you very much for being a part of our institution.
Thank you so much.
My wholehearted thanks, a big thanks go to our participant. Kudos to you, because your time and interest, the appetite for the knowledge, of post your routine college work, still you had yourself engaged in this particular knowledge session. Thank you very much for being a part of us, and this encourages us as an institution to bring in more such programs. I personally request all the faculty members, all the participants, to share their feedback. Of course, we have a routine feedback form which gives us a very limited scope for us to what you call introspect. I request you all to shoot a mail. We will be sharing the email ID of our IQAC, so that you can share your views, any perspective in which requires a bit of improvement, or any topic on which you require a sort of much more pro sessions, irrespective of the domain in which you are interested. So we would take it forward, and will ensure that those topics will be taken. So thank you for the participants, and you have been encouraging us for all our previous 2 years of our programs online, whichever we have conducted. The huge number of registrations and participation. We have participation from Nagaland, West Bengal, Delhi, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, almost all the Jammu Kashmir, all states of India have participated. A big thank you for your time and your interest to shown towards all our endeavors. Uh, of course, my next thanks have to go to our principal, who is the head of the institution, and he's the catalyst behind all our endeavors. So he on the scene, he might not be seen, but it is his insight which he has shared with all of the faculty members have brought about such a success in bringing in various endeavors of our institution. Thank you very much, sir, for your support, endless and infinite support. My next thanks go to my team, the coordinator of the research club, Madam Vijay Lakshmi, and the faculty study circle, Madam Shakila, and the all their team members for their clinically executing the plan. So it's been almost a month from which we have been planning these things. So your contribution, your support in making this program a success with your team is really appreciated, not only by me, by principal, but all the participants. So thank you very much. We request you to continue to have the same zeal in doing the executing more of these type of sessions. And of course, the technical support given by Gokul and all other faculty members of our department, office staff, and all their support and indulgence is really appreciated. Thank you very much. And the feedback will be initiated. I think it's already been shared. You can give your feedback. But again, I would like to repeat that these feedback, if you have any specific things that you need to say, whether positive, negative, neutral, whatever it is, please shoot an email with your request for further sessions we would be conducting it. Thank you very much. Good night. I think all of you have enjoyed the session of learning. Thank you.
Okay, just last, Vijaya Lakshmi madam, can you please share me the email ID of Dr. Anil sir? Because we
Sure,
require,
ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
yes, for our PhD evaluation, other state referee we require. So you kindly take
Yeah.
the permission from your principal, and if it's agreed,
Yeah.
kindly share me
No,
this. Yeah?
no, don't worry. I will definitely be part of your.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am,
Participant
I
in the
have your mail ID, ma'am. I'll just forward it to principal sir, and he will communicate with you, ma'am.
fine, fine. Participant, I have written my email ID in the chat box. So anytime if you have any query with the data analytics or anything, you kindly post me the mail. So I will be love to give the answer to your query. So I have already written my email ID in the chat box. Fine. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night, Madam Vijaya Lakshmi, Madam. Good night, Dr. S. Anil Kumar.
Good night.
And thank you, participant. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for being so generous. I would like to conclude the session with a quote. Research is like a blind date with knowledge. Let's explore, understand, and revive on it. Happy learning. Good night. Signing off, Bharti.